What is going on, Warriors fans? Let's dive straight into the action because the Bay just got some news that deserves all the spotlight. The Golden State Warriors made a fresh roster move, and it might not be the kind of blockbuster headline that shakes the league to its core, but it's the type of move that could turn into a hidden gem if things play out the right way. We're talking about a new signing, a player who has been grinding for years in the shadows of the game, waiting for his shot at the big stage. His name is Tavon Kinsey, and he's officially stepping into the Warriors system on what's called an Exhibit 10 contract. For those of you not fully familiar with the NBA's contract language, let me break it down real quick. An Exhibit 10 deal is essentially a golden ticket to training camp. It's not a guaranteed long-term spot on the roster, but it gives a player the chance to show what he's got, fight for a place in the rotation, and prove he belongs at the highest level. It's a trial, but sometimes these trials turn into stories that fans remember forever. And Kinsey, at 24 years old, is about to get his chance to convince the Warriors that he can bring value to a team still hungry for another run at glory. Kinsey isn't a household name, at least not yet. He hasn't logged a single minute in an official NBA game, but don't let that fool you. His resume has a lot more depth than most people think. Standing at 6'5" and weighing in around 190, he has the frame of a versatile wing and the kind of athletic ability that jumps off the screen when you watch his tape. He comes out of Marshall University, where he didn't just play basketball, he rewrote the record books. Kinsey left Marshall as the program's all-time leading scorer, and that is no small feat. We're talking about a school that's had some legit bucket-getters over the years, but none of them piled up points the way Kinsey did across his 5-year college career. In his final season with the Thundering Herd, he averaged over 20 points a night, carrying the offense, attacking defenses from every angle, and proving he could lead a team night after night. Consistency like that isn't just about talent. It's about work ethic, and that's exactly what the Warriors are betting on. After going undrafted in 2023, Kinsey didn't hang his head or give up on the dream. Instead, he took the harder route. He grinded in the G League, picked up minutes with the Salt Lake City Stars, and tried to carve out a reputation as a reliable scorer and playmaker. His opportunities there were limited. He only played in a handful of games across 2 seasons. But whenever he touched the floor, he produced. Look at the numbers. In the most recent stretch, across just 2 games, he put up 16.5 points per contest, including one monster 33-point performance. He grabbed rebounds, defended with energy, and showed flashes of efficiency that turned heads. He shot 11 for 15 from the field in those games, and even when a perfect 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, sure, the sample size was small, but it was enough to show that the kid can flat-out hoop. And here's the part that makes his signing even more intriguing. Kinsey has already been selected to represent the NBA G League United team at the upcoming International Cup in September. That means he's on the radar not just in the United States, but also globally, as a player capable of showcasing skills on an international stage. That tournament won't interfere with the Warriors' training camp schedule, so he'll have the chance to play high-level basketball overseas and then jump straight into the battle for a roster spot in Golden State. Think about that for a second. The guy is walking into September with a stage to prove himself against international competition and then heading right into camp with one of the most storied franchises of this generation. That's the type of momentum that can change the course of a career. Now, if you dive into Kinsey's profile as a player, there's a lot to like. He's an athletic wing who thrives in transition, gets downhill with authority, and has a knack for filling up the scoreboard. In college, he wasn't afraid to take over games, and he has the versatility to score from multiple levels. Mid-range pull-ups, slashing to the rim, spot-up threes, he's got tools in his bag. Now, it's true, his three-point shooting percentages bounced around during his Marshall years. One season he's hitting over 40%, the next he's down in the low 20s. So, consistency from deep is going to be one of the biggest questions for him. But in today's NBA, the ability to attack, create, and put constant pressure on defenses can sometimes outweigh raw shooting percentages. If Kinsey can show the Warriors that he can play within the system, cut hard off the ball, defend with energy, and keep defenses honest with enough outside shooting, he has a real shot at sticking. And here's where things get even spicier. The Warriors are in a transitional phase right now. Yes, Steph Curry is still the face of the franchise, still the most dangerous shooter the game has ever seen, but the roster around him has been shifting. Golden State has spent the offseason looking for ways to add depth, athleticism, and younger legs who can keep the pace high and the defense locked in. Bringing in Kinsey isn't about headline grabbing. It's about finding value where other teams aren't looking. Compare him to some of the Warriors' recent draft picks. Guys like Alex Touay and Will Richard, who were brought in through the second round, might need more time to adjust to the NBA's speed and physicality. Kinsey, on the other hand, is older, more seasoned, and already used to carrying a heavy scoring load. That polish could give him an edge when training camp rolls around. The big question now is this. What are the chances Tavon Kinsey actually cracks the Warriors' active roster this season? Is this just another Exhibit 10 player who comes in, gets some training camp experience, and then heads back to the G League? Or could he become one of those rare success stories that Warriors fans love to rally behind? Remember, this is a franchise that has had success developing talent on the margins. They know how to find guys who fit their system, who buy into the culture, and who can provide bursts of energy when a moment calls for it. If Kinsey can show he's ready, there is absolutely a path for him to earn minutes. And Warriors fans, let me tell you this. Every season, there's always one player who walks into camp under the radar and ends up being a bigger story than anyone expected. Kinsey has the resume. He has the numbers in college. He has flashes in the G League. And now he has the opportunity. That's all you can really ask for as a player fighting to make in the league. The next few months will determine whether his story is just a small footnote in Warriors history or the beginning of something far greater. All right, Warriors Nation, buckle up because this is where things get wild. You know how sometimes you hear a take that makes you stop, blink twice, and ask yourself if you actually heard that, right? That's exactly what happened this week when an anonymous NBA executive dropped one of the most outrageous comparisons I've heard in years. And no, I'm not exaggerating. This exec actually compared Jonathan Kuminga to Paul George. Yes, you heard me right. Paul George, 9-time All-Star, multiple All-NBA, one of the best two-way wings of his generation. That Paul George. Now, let me be clear. Kuminga is a talented young player. He has the body, he has the athleticism, and on his best nights, he flashes the kind of skill that makes you understand why the Warriors spent a high lottery pick on him. But comparing him to Paul George is such a stretch, such a reach, that it feels more like fan fiction than basketball analysis. Let's break this down because when you put these two careers side by side, the gaps are glaring. Paul George entered the league at 20 years old, already with 2 full seasons of collegiate basketball under his belt at Fresno State. He wasn't a finished product, but he had polish, he had fundamentals, and within just a couple of years, he was already one of the brightest young stars in the NBA. By the time he was 22, he was not just contributing, he was starring. He was an all-star, the face of the Indiana Pacers' rise, and he was helping lead his team deep into the playoffs against the likes of LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Now, let's shift over to Kuminga. He came into the NBA as one of the youngest players in his class, straight out of the G League Ignite program. He played 13 games there. 13. Not 2 years of college. Not a stretch where he was forced to grind through multiple seasons of organized systems and structure basketball. Just 13 games in an experimental developmental program. So, when Kuminga stepped into the league, he was raw. Talented, yes. Explosive, absolutely. But raw. And here we are, 3 seasons into his NBA career. And while he's shown flashes, he hasn't even come close to proving he can carry the kind of responsibility Paul George did at the same stage. And let's not forget the production gap. At 22 years old, George was averaging over 20 points a night and already building a reputation as one of the best young two-way wings in the game. He was guarding LeBron in the playoffs and hitting clutch shots for a team with championship aspirations. Kuminga, on the other hand, has struggled to consistently earn playing time on a Warriors team that, let's be honest, has been in flux but still demands winning basketball every single night. His numbers are nowhere near George's at the same age, and his impact on the game has been much more limited. Now, The executive who made this comparison tried to frame it as if the situations were similar. He pointed out that George had to wait behind Danny Granger in Indiana the way Kuminga has had to wait behind established veterans in Golden State. But that's not the same. It's not even close. Granger's career was derailed by injuries, which opened the door for George to take over as the lead scorer. The Pacers weren't a dominant team yet. They were building, and George was given the freedom to grow with them. Kuminga, on the other hand, has been surrounded by Hall of Famers. Curry, Green, Thompson, these guys are not in rebuilding mode. They're in win-now mode. Every mistake Kuminga makes is magnified because the margin for error in Golden State is razor thin. This is in Indiana in 2012. This is a dynasty franchise fighting to squeeze one more ring out of a legendary core. And let's talk about skill set, because that's where the comparison really falls apart. Paul George, from early on, was a smooth shooter. He had range, he had form, and he could score efficiently from deep, even in high-volume situations. Kuminga? Shooting has been his Achilles heel since day one. His three-point percentage has never been league average, and while he's improved in certain areas, he's never been able to stretch the floor the way George could. George was hitting threes over defenders in playoff battles at age 22. Kuminga still looks hesitant from deep in regular season games. Look, I get it. People want to be optimistic about young players. They want to believe that every athletic forward with potential is the next Paul George or the next Kawhi Leonard. But throwing those comparisons around doesn't help anyone. It sets unrealistic expectations, it distorts the conversation, and it ignores the actual development curve a player like Kuminga needs. This isn't about saying Kuminga has no future. He does. He's young, he's gifted, and in the right situation, he could blossom into a really strong NBA player. But Paul George? That's just illusion. So let me throw this back at you, Dub Nation. Forget 9-time All-Star. Forget multiple All-NBA selections. Let's set the bar lower. Do you honestly believe Jonathan Kuminga can become even a 5-time All-Star in his career? Because that's the level he'd have to hit just to be in the ballpark of a Paul George comparison. That's not just about athleticism. That's about skill, consistency, leadership, and the ability to show up on the biggest stages. Do you see that in Kuminga's future? Because right now, the evidence just isn't there. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers around the league have reached a fever pitch following the Golden State Warriors' recent acquisition of David Roddy from the Houston Rockets, a move that is generating both excitement and speculation among analysts, insiders, and fans alike. This trade, although officially confirmed, has stirred an array of rumors about the team's strategy and long-term vision. Roddy, known for his versatility on the wing and defensive tenacity, represents a significant addition to a Warriors squad that has been seeking depth and energy in its forward rotation. Sources close to the organization hint that this is part of a broader plan to balance the lineup while maintaining offensive firepower and defensive solidity. Despite his time with the Rockets being marked by fluctuating performance and limited minutes, insiders suggest that Roddy's work ethic and basketball IQ could make him an ideal fit for the Warriors' dynamic style of play, particularly in transition and perimeter defense. The murmur suggests that Golden State's management sees untapped potential in Roddy that, under the guidance of their coaching staff, could blossom into a key rotational role. Conversations among former players and pundits hint that this move might also send a signal to other teams about the Warriors' willingness to make calculated investments in emerging talent. While no one can predict the exact impact immediately, the buzz in locker rooms and media circles is undeniable, with excitement and curiosity mingling as fans speculate on how quickly Roddy can adapt. Industry chatter indicates that internal team dynamics, such as veteran leadership and mentoring younger players, will play a crucial role in integrating Roddy effectively, and insiders believe this could accelerate his development. The whispers suggest that, beyond immediate tactical considerations, this acquisition could influence the Warriors' approach in upcoming free agency periods and trade windows, setting the stage for subtle yet impactful shifts in the roster. Even casual observers are noting the significance of the move, as the narrative surrounding Golden State continues to evolve in unpredictable but tantalizing ways. Rumors surrounding David Roddy's arrival in Golden State have quickly spread, fueling debates across sports talk shows, social media, and insider circles. Sources suggest that the Warriors' front office has been quietly monitoring Roddy's development for months, with discussions intensifying after his performances in high-pressure situations with Houston. Analysts speculate that the team sees him as a multifaceted contributor, capable of spacing the floor, defending multiple positions, and bringing energy off the bench. While some critics question whether Roddy's offensive game can consistently impact the Warriors' elite scoring system, others argue that his versatility and defensive acumen could be the hidden gem the team needs. Conversations among insiders hint that Roddy's mental approach, including his readiness to embrace a supporting role and his adaptability to different game plans, was a decisive factor in the trade. The murmurs also suggest that coaching staff members are excited to experiment with lineups incorporating Roddy, potentially creating new dynamics alongside key stars. Speculation abounds about whether this move could signal a shift toward a more balanced rotational approach, emphasizing both scoring depth and defensive coverage. Fans and commentators alike are drawing parallels to previous mid-season acquisitions by the Warriors, debating whether Roddy might follow the trajectory of players who initially struggled but eventually became core contributors. Inside sources hint that training sessions have already shown promising signs, with Roddy adjusting to the team's pace and offensive schemes faster than expected. Analysts continue to buzz about potential scenarios, including whether Roddy's inclusion could change minute allocations for other forwards and how this might affect playoff rotations. Industry chatter suggests that the Warriors' willingness to integrate him into the rotation so quickly reflects confidence in his potential to make a tangible impact. Even skeptics admit that the team's culture, known for optimizing player strengths, could be the perfect environment for Roddy to elevate his game. The rumor mill is alive with questions about long-term fit, role definition, and the strategic implications for future roster decisions, ensuring that the conversation around Roddy will not die down anytime soon. The excitement surrounding the Warriors' acquisition of David Roddy is amplified by the timing and context of the trade, as insiders point out that Golden State has been evaluating its wing depth with increasing scrutiny. Analysts speculate that the team's performance in recent games highlighted gaps in defensive coverage and bench scoring, prompting management to pursue Roddy aggressively. While his tenure with Houston was marked by both flashes of brilliance and inconsistency, sources close to the Warriors claim that the coaching staff believes in his capacity to adapt to a higher-paced, more demanding system. Rumors suggest that internal evaluations focused not only on his statistics, but also on intangibles such as leadership potential, basketball IQ, and versatility across multiple roles. Fans are abuzz with speculation about how Roddy will mesh with established stars, particularly in pick-and-roll situations and perimeter defense. Insider chatter hints that his arrival could inspire subtle strategic adjustments, such as increasing rotation flexibility and exploring new offensive sets designed to exploit mismatches. Critics, while cautious, acknowledge that the Warriors have historically excelled at transforming role players into critical contributors, adding fuel to the speculation that Roddy could quickly carve out a meaningful position. Observers note that veteran mentorship within the locker room may accelerate his integration, particularly as he learns to navigate the pressures of high-stakes games and complex defensive schemes. Rumors even suggest that Roddy's presence could influence future roster management decisions, with potential trades or signings contingent on his performance. Analysts continue to debate whether his skill set will complement the Warriors' shooting-heavy approach or primarily bolster defensive rotations, creating lively discussion across podcasts, social media, and sports columns. Even within scouting circles, the whispers are that Roddy's work ethic and adaptability make him a high-upside candidate who could redefine the team's mid-season narrative. Enthusiastic insiders hint that his integration into practice drills has already provided a glimpse of his potential impact, raising expectations for upcoming matchups and deepening the intrigue surrounding Golden State's strategic direction. The rumor mill remains active, fueled by curiosity, speculation, and cautious optimism, keeping Roddy's arrival at the forefront of league conversations. Buzz around the NBA has grown exponentially since the announcement of David Roddy joining the Warriors, with analysts and insiders weaving speculative narratives about the team's immediate and long-term intentions. Sources indicate that the decision to trade for Roddy was influenced by more than just his on-court production. Character evaluations, commitment to team culture, and adaptability under pressure reportedly played pivotal roles. Industry chatter suggests that the Warriors' management sees this acquisition as a multifaceted opportunity, strengthening the wing rotation, providing fresh defensive energy, and introducing a player whose potential could be unlocked through elite coaching. Observers are quick to note that Roddy's statistical contributions with Houston, including rebounding, perimeter shooting, and defensive metrics, may not fully capture his prospective impact within Golden State's fluid system. Speculative conversations hint at lineups in which Roddy's versatility allows him to switch seamlessly between positions, contributing to a more unpredictable and dynamic approach. The rumor mill also highlights internal debates about the optimal balance of minutes among forwards, with Roddy's arrival potentially prompting strategic reshuffles. Analysts discuss how this trade aligns with historical patterns of the Warriors acquiring emerging talent, often yielding high rewards when paired with experienced leadership. Fans are captivated by the idea that Roddy could evolve into a key piece in high-pressure scenarios, from playoff rotations to critical late-game possessions. Insider sources reveal that initial practices have showcased his defensive instincts and ability to read offensive patterns, which has sparked optimism about his rapid adaptation. Social media speculation ranges from immediate starting roles to key bench contributions, fueling ongoing discussions across multiple platforms. The whispers also touch upon how this move might influence the Warriors' reputation in the league, signaling both ambition and willingness to invest in potential. With each passing day, the intrigue surrounding Roddy grows as analysts, pundits, and fans alike dissect every nuance, fostering an atmosphere of anticipation and excitement that extends beyond conventional reporting. The acquisition is more than a simple trade. It is a narrative catalyst, driving rumors, predictions, and debates about the evolving identity of a championship-caliber team navigating a dynamic season. Speculation regarding David Roddy's integration into the Warriors continues to dominate conversations among insiders, journalists, and fans, as the implications of this acquisition ripple across multiple layers of team strategy and league dynamics. Rumors suggest that the Warriors' coaching staff is already exploring creative ways to maximize Roddy's defensive agility, perimeter awareness, and transition speed, potentially redefining traditional positional roles. Analysts have highlighted the possibility of unconventional lineup experiments, where Roddy's adaptability could create matchup advantages against a variety of opponents. Sources indicate that his attitude, commitment to improvement, and willingness to embrace a supportive yet high-impact role have impressed team leadership, hinting at a seamless cultural fit. The whispers also speculate about the subtle influence this trade could have on contract negotiations, future draft strategies, and internal competition for playing time, all of which add layers of intrigue for observers tracking Golden State's moves. Social media buzz continues to amplify the story, with fans dissecting game footage, practice sessions, and statistical projections, while insiders offer tantalizing hints about potential breakout performances. Rumors suggest that Roddy's arrival could accelerate the development of younger players, providing mentorship and setting an example of professionalism and adaptability, which aligns with the team's long-term vision. Industry chatter highlights that such acquisitions are rarely just about immediate impact. They often reflect a broader philosophy regarding roster construction, player potential, and strategic depth. Debates persist about how quickly Roddy can adjust to the Warriors' offensive schemes, defensive rotations, and high-pressure playoff environment, with speculation ranging from gradual adaptation to immediate influence. Analysts continue to discuss his potential role in clutch situations, rotation management, and the broader competitive landscape, often referencing similar past acquisitions that evolved into key contributors. Even casual observers note the strategic narrative embedded in this move, as the Warriors appear to be blending experience, potential, and versatility in an intricate balancing act. The ongoing rumblings underscore the excitement and curiosity surrounding the team's trajectory, ensuring that David Roddy's name remains at the center of basketball discourse, captivating fans, pundits, and insiders alike with each development, decision, and whispered report. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.